The woman you see here reportedly drinking and partying is the mom now accused of a horrifying crime. This is Virginia Gonzales now. She's in jail. She's accused of locking her 7-year-old daughter in a closet for weeks and allegedly starving her to the point where the girl weighed less than 30 pounds and now has brain damage. Police are now searching for her other daughter who hasn't been seen, get this, since December 2017. She was just 2 years old then. These are exclusive videos of Virginia Gonzales reportedly partying and drinking, and we're hearing from someone who used to call this now accused abuser of her own child a friend.
I'm in shock, I'm in disbelief. I just cannot believe or put words to explain how it makes me feel that I hung out with a person who, was out in the club partying, knowing that she had these intentions towards these kids like that. I'm in shock still.
And you will not believe what she had to say as police are trying to piece together criminal cases stemming from multiple children and multiple incidents. We're on the case presented by Law&Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. I'm still trying to piece together what I just heard in an interview with a woman who says she used to be friends with Virginia Gonzales. Gonzales is now in jail. She's being held on a $75,000 bond. She was arrested on April 24th on a charge of serious injury to a child. That charge is related to what police say they found in an apartment in southeast Austin, Texas on April 3rd. Police say they found one of Gonzales's children, a 7-year-old girl, trapped in a closet. She weighed just 29 pounds. She was malnourished and starving. According to court documents released to KVUE in Austin, the child was in such bad physical shape that she has brain damage. Inside that unit, police say there were 6 other kids, reportedly between the ages of 2 and 14. According to the friend that you will hear from in just a moment, all of those kids in that unit are the biological children of 33-year-old Virginia Gonzales. Police say when they found the child in the closet, they realized that Gonzales actually had an 8th child who they say is missing. And this is who they say that child is. Her name is Ava Marie Gonzales. This is an image of what she might look like today at roughly 9 years old. Now, this is one of the most recent photos we have of the girl, and it's from 2017 when she was just 2 years old. That's the last time police say anyone saw Ava. She was never reported missing, and beyond that, there are no records of any of the Gonzales kids, police say, ever being in school. Now, police did give a news conference where they laid out what they know, and they put out this email address as a place for people to send tips, and there's also a Crime Stoppers phone number for people to call if they know anything about where Ava may be or anything about this family and what allegedly happened inside that apartment. There are so many unanswered questions in this story. There are unanswered questions for police, unanswered questions for the child welfare system, CPS. We'll tell you what they told us in just a moment, but there's also a lot of questions for the family and friends of Virginia Gonzales. Questions of, how did you not know that a 2-year-old girl vanished in 2017 and no one has seen her since? A woman who says she used to be a friend with Virginia Gonzales. She says that these videos are from when she partied with Virginia Gonzales in 2024. They show Gonzales reportedly drinking and smoking out at clubs and bars. Now, to confirm that this was Gonzales, not only does it just look like her in her booking photos, but you can also see as we zoom in on this video, which shows her allegedly drinking on a boat, you can see on her neck that tattoo, which matches the tattoo you see here in her booking photo that was released to us by Austin police. Before I play parts of the conversation that I had with this woman who goes by the name LeAnn Marie. She didn't want her last name used because she has been receiving criticism for being public about this case on social media. I also want to let you know that we are redacting the name of the 7-year-old who was allegedly found inside that closet. Just as we begin, tell us how you knew Virginia Gonzales.
So I met her about 8-9 years ago. I would say maybe 10 through mutual friends. I didn't know much about her. But what I did know of her throughout these years is basically, partying, outgoing, very, very, adventurous. Like we would do all types of stuff together, party. We were mainly in the clubs, in the bars. I mean, I was single with no kids, so I would be out there partying and she was right there beside me, but never in my right mind thought that she would definitely, be this monster behind closed doors. What I knew of her was just very discreet with her life, especially the kids' life. She never really mentioned them. Every time me or any other mutual friends would ask her about them, she would just, blow it off that they were with the grandma. But I never, in my right state of mind, thought that she would be doing this. That's for sure.
When was the last time you saw Virginia?
The last time I saw her was on my birthday weekend in September of 2024. I actually went to the apartment where the grandma found the kids and picked her up.
Mm.
And I actually went into the apartment. I seen the oldest kid inside the living room playing his game. The house was very clean. Nothing, but at the same time, the kids were not with her at this time. So um, I picked her up. We went on a boat party, and she was there with me for about 4 to 6 hours on the boat. And then I took her home, and that was it. And then I have not heard from her until February of this year when she had asked me to borrow money, and I let her borrow money.
Because one part and I want to talk about Ava in a moment, who's been missing since, according to police, December 2017. But there was the child that police say was a 7-year-old who was in the closet and was found
Mhm.
underweight. There were 6 other kids in the unit, and then police said they then found out that Ava was missing. Are those all her kids biologically?
Yes, biologically, she has 9 kids from what we know right now.
And that's more
One
than
being Ava missing.
what police are saying. Nine
I'm
is
sorry?
more than 9 is more than what I think a lot of people understand, as far as a lot of people think it was 8 kids, but you're saying it's 9.
Yes, it's 9 kids for sure. Maybe 10.
LeAnn has been vocal on social media. She did a Facebook Live where she made a lot of the claims that you're hearing public. She says that she has been communicating with family members of Virginia Gonzales. It's hard to confirm what interaction Child Protective Services has had with this family because the agency says they won't release records. But they say the children that were found in that apartment last month are now in foster care. The 7-year-old girl who was found allegedly in a closet is in a hospital recovering. What you're looking at here is a statement that CPS sent me. I then asked LeAnn in our conversation about the girl that police are looking for right now, Ava Marie Gonzales. What type of, and let's just get to Ava, and there's a lot to kind of unpack there, but she was last seen December 2017. Did you ever know Ava? Did you ever meet her when she was 2, which was the last time that
Um,
she left?
so when I first met her, I only knew of 3 little boys. I never knew Gina even had a girl. And then years passed through, and recently, about 2 years ago, she popped up out of nowhere. Mind you, she was living in San Antonio with her baby daddy with the 3 little boys, and she was, playing house. So nobody's seen her. And then randomly she pops up. When she popped up, that's when we started reconnecting and catching up. And she told me she had 3 more boys with that baby daddy. But I never knew she had a girl. Every mutual friend who I met her through, who knows her better than I do, all told me the same thing. Nobody knew about her having a girl. Back in the day, if we are correct, the third little boy that she was saying was a boy was Ava, but she presented him as her as a boy back in the day. So after concluding that and confirming with multiple mutual friends, we all agreed that nobody knew about no girl.
How many fathers of her children does she have?
From what I know, there's about 6 or 7 fathers,
Wow. So as
and
far
only
as,
two. Sorry, go ahead.
well, I was going to ask, so when police say Ava's missing, she hasn't been seen since December 2017, you didn't know that Ava had existed by that
No.
point, and a lot of it.
And then to put the puzzle of the pieces together, talking to the 3 little boys' grandmother that found the kids, she stated that when Regina originally got with her son, they only found out about Ava through a SNAP award letter that was sent to her home. So they only knew because her name was on a documentation, but they had never seen, laid eyes, or physically were in, the presence of Ava. They only knew she existed through a piece of paperwork. So when they asked her about Ava, she stated that Ava was her sister's baby who she was taking care of, but that was in the custody hands of the mother. Like she like basically gave the little girl to the mother, which is her biological mother, to take care of. So this grandmother and these in-laws had no idea that, Ava was even her actual biological daughter. And none of us did actually.
Walk us through when it comes to finding the 7-year-old in the closet. What led up to that point? I understand the grandmother is who found the 7-year-old and then calls police, and then it kind of uncovers this situation. What was the
Mhm.
lead up to that she had all of these children in that apartment that you were once in?
So basically what led her up to this was in December of 2024, the father who was taking care of his three biological boys and three others of hers that were not his, but he had, they had six kids in their possession. When he got sentenced to prison, they stayed with his mother and his sister. Well, Gina pops up out of nowhere from to the grandma's and asked if she could stay there. And of course, the grandma said she gave in because they had been trying to get in contact with her for about a year or two to come and see the kids, visit the kids, be there for their birthdays, holidays, and she wouldn't answer them. So in December, when she went to go stay for that week, she randomly up and took all six kids that were in the grandma's possession. And then from December all the way up until this point where the grandma found them in the apartment, the grandmother or the sister-in-law or nobody has no contact with Gina or the kids because she would not answer them. What led up to the actual finding of was that the grandma got a phone call from her son stating that Gina went to jail for a possession of marijuana charge, and that she needed to get out of jail, and that if she could help him get out of jail, help her, I'm sorry, get out of jail.
Now, we know from police that this booking photo of Virginia Gonzales is from April 3rd, which is the same day they say the grandmother found the 7-year-old inside the closet. All that we know from Austin police is that this booking photo was from an out-of-county warrant. But we looked up court records in Travis County, Texas, and there is a case that began on January 31st, 2024 involving Virginia Gonzales, and it does line up with what LeAnn told us. Police say on that day in January, around 2 o'clock in the morning on 6th Street in Austin, which if you've ever been, it's a busy bar and club strip in the city. Police responded to an altercation after a gunshot sensor went off. An officer writes that Gonzales was detained when they arrived, and she gave police a false name. The name she gave was Georgina Gonzales. Then she allegedly told police that the reason she gave the false name was because she had an out-of-county warrant for her arrest related to possession of marijuana that was out of Washington County, Texas. Next in our conversation, LeAnn went on what she says happened when that grandmother went into the apartment and where that 7-year-old girl was allegedly found in a closet. All we know from this point is what KVUE in Austin, Texas saw in the arrest documents that they were able to view that haven't been released to us as of yet.
So when she went to jail, the grandma asked the son, "Well, where are the grandkids?" And he was like, "I don't know. Let me make some phone calls." So he makes the phone calls and he tries to get in contact to find the address where Gina lived. Ends up getting the address, sends his mom over there. She goes to the apartment. She didn't know the actual number, but she just goes knocking at the doors. And it happened to be that the first apartment she picks where they led her to in the directions that they gave him, it ended up being she knocked on the patio door and her actual biological grandson opens the shades and she tells him, "Hey, it's grandma, open the door." He opens the door. She said this is about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The kids are asleep in the back room. And once she walks in, she goes straight to the kids thinking that, all the kids are in that back room asleep. And she said that she did pass by the room where was in. She opened the door, but she did not go in there just because there was nothing but boxes in there and it had a bad odor. So she said she continued to walk to the back. That's where she seen all the kids. As they were leaving to the front door, she asked the oldest one, like, "Hey, where is And he's like, "Oh, grandma, she's in the closet." And then she says, "Well, go get her." She at that point she didn't think anything. She thought a kid was just being a kid and being in the closet. So she tells him to go get her. Well, when the little boy ignores the question, she asks him again, like, "Hey, go get her. We need to go, or just show me where she's at, and I'll go get her." And then that's when the little boy led her to that room with the odor. And when he opened the door, he started having to move, the 70-pound boxes that were in front of barricaded in front of that those two closet doors that opened up. Once he moved the baskets, the grandma said she then seen a I want to say she said it was a phone cord, like the charger cord, and it was like wrapped around the two knobs to where like it couldn't open. And so when she seen that, she started freaking out, hurrying up, trying to get into the closet. And when she did, that's when she found in the same sweater that she had that Gina had left when Gina picked her up in December, was wearing the same exact sweater that day that she found her. So she doesn't know if she's been in that same sweater for this past 6 months, but she was in that same sweater. And then she had Gina's pants on, which were urine all over. So right away, that's when she immediately called the police, and CPS basically took all the kids into custody at that point.
To kind of for me to understand, so she didn't have custody of the kids that were in that apartment, but it was kind of, she had been out of the kids' lives for so long, and the family wanted her to be involved with the kids. So then when she said, "I'm ready to take it," that's kind of like how she unofficially was
Got
looking
in
after the kids
possession
for
of the
about
kids.
for
Right.
6 months. Yeah. As far as Ava, um, so she never said anything about Ava. Like, no one knew that Ava even existed.
No.
Was she ever in contact? Because CPS won't tell us whether or not they were in contact with the family, but did you know if CPS knew about Ava in the past or had come in contact with Ava at any point?
From what I understand is there was a CPS back in 2017 regarding Ava starving. And from what I'm understanding is that the system did definitely fail Ava because they left her in Gina's possession. But as far as long as recent, anything new, have I heard anything about CPS being in contact with him? No. I just know that, they were receiving benefits, but Ava or were not on those benefits.
And just because she's, I think, 33, right? And she has
Yes.
between 8, potentially 10 kids, that means that she was pregnant for a good amount of time that you knew her. I mean, was she, because I know we've looked at some videos you shared, and she's drinking regularly. I mean, was she regularly? I mean, she had to have been regularly pregnant for a long time. I guess my question is, where was she having these kids, as far as like a medical facility where she was giving birth? And you would think that there would be records of these children because they were born.
Right. So I think that during those, because Gina was the type of friend that she would go and come. So 1 minute she would be here for 2 or 3, 4 months, and then she'll go ghost for a year or two, and then she'll come back. So that's what I was telling you. Back in 2018, when she got with the baby daddy with the three little boys, at that point we all knew that she had 6 kids. They were all boys, and she was, being at home and playing house with her baby daddy. And then when they broke up, that's when um that's when she came out. And but mind you, before that she had already had Ava, and so they were already in the picture. We just didn't know about them. The recent baby, back in September when I hung out with her, I did notice that she had gained a lot of weight. So I had, playing around, asked her like, "Hey, are you pregnant?" And I mean, she said no, that she had a hernia, and that she had to have surgery.
With this story, there are going to be a lot of questions for people in the child welfare system. We have asked some questions to Child Protective Services in Texas, but I showed you that statement where they said they cannot release documents or information related to cases that they have with specific families.
I think she had a real good way of hiding things, being very discreet with things, very manipulative. Plotting the grandmas, her mom and the grandma that was involved with the kids, against each other so they wouldn't speak with one another. I think that she just had a way of she was a mastermind. She had control of, she thought she had control of everybody, is what I'm seeing now.
And for, I know one thing for police that they don't know, they said they don't know who the father of Ava is. Do you have any idea who that person might be and if they've come forward since this story's?
Um, I've had a few people that have reached out to me that thought or might think that they are the father of her. But I have not had it confirmed from anybody. I do know that they were looking for her father. I'm not too sure if they found her or not. From my understanding, they have not found Ava's father. Um, but I do know out of all the fathers that are that do have kids with her, there's only three of them that are aware of the situation right now that are in contact with the police.
Do you have any idea where Ava might be?
I've had a few leads from multiple people, which I've sent to the detectives. But as far as long as do I know exactly where she's at? No. Do I pray that she's alive? Yes.
Still, at this point, there are so many questions. And I know I keep saying that, but it's just really hard to wrap your mind around how a 2-year-old disappeared in December 2017 and no one has heard of her since. No one knew in some cases that she even existed, that police didn't know that she was missing until they allegedly found that 7-year-old girl in a closet. And I know you've been public on social media talking about this story and what you know, and that there have been people out there that say because you were out and about with her in the past, that how did you not know about what was going on? How did you not know about Ava missing? How do you respond to that when people will hear you and say that you were around this person, that you should have known that something was going on?
I just feel like everybody has their own speculation and their own opinion, but it's not my job to prove that I was around her enough to know exactly what was going on in her life. I mean, I have siblings that I am close to that I don't even get to talk to on a daily basis because they're busy and they got their life. So like I feel like people expect me to just know this girl's moved 24/7 just because I said I hung out with her and I was close to her when we did chill. But I would just say that I only seen her maybe a handful of times in the past year. One being the last time was in September. So when she had all the kids in her possession in December of 2024, she was completely ghost from social media. She was completely ghost from everybody. So I didn't actually physically see her while all the kids were in her possession. But every time I did see her, she never had none of the kids but the oldest little boy. And every excuse from what I'm hearing, not just from me, but other mutual friends, is that she her every the same answer was given to everybody that the kids were with the grandma. So I mean, nobody knew to ask, or you don't just go and say, hey, let me get proof that the kids are with your grandma. You just believe her. You know what I mean? I didn't think anything. So I just feel like everybody's attacking me and thinking that, I was on a daily basis friendship with her. Gina just came and go as she pleased. Gina would contact us when she needed something, if it was money, a ride, this, that. So it wasn't like an everyday friendship where you just pull up to her house, check on the kids. Like I don't, we weren't close like that. We were close where if we seen each other, hey, what are you doing? Hugging. It's been a long time, but nothing to the point where I chilled with her on a daily basis or talked to her on a daily basis. Like I said, she only came around when she needed something.
And then just lastly, LeAnn, it just says this story's come up. It must have been just an incredible shock for you knowing that you knew this person. And then, I mean, it's just a shock that anybody would be accused of what she's accused of. Is there anything when you look back on your times with her that maybe is a red flag that you're thinking about now that at the time didn't seem like something that would be out of the ordinary?
Um, no, I mean, honestly, I knew she had a little crazy side to her, but with men, not with children. So I didn't see anything. I mean, I knew she was like she had that toxic, with, like I said, with the men. It hit me hard because I was an abused child before, and I was that one child that didn't get, the candy and get to eat in front of her. So I know how it feels. So when I speak on the case, I speak on it from experience of knowing how it feels to be that kid, and that's why it hits hard with me because she was close to me. And I just I'm in shock. Like, I'm in disbelief. I just cannot believe or put words to explain like how it makes me feel that I hung out with a person who, was out in the club party and knowing that she had these intentions towards these kids like that. I'm in shock still, and it hurts to be honest with you, especially because people are sitting here attacking, expecting me to like have every answer, and I don't. I just know my experience. I speak about my experience with her, and then I speak about my experience as that abused kid. And when you're, well, why didn't none of the kids say anything, or why didn't the little boy tell? Like, you can't. You're scared. You are controlled. You don't know anything but to listen to these parents who are, they're intimidating, they're scary, they're very angry and abusive to you, verbally abusive. So like, if her kid seen what she was doing, they don't want to be in that position. You know what I mean? Nobody can speak about it because I just feel like nobody knows unless you're in that position. So it's hurt. It's hurt, very hurtful, and very sad. And I feel bad for the kids more than anything.
No, LeAnn Marie, thank you for taking the time to join us. We really appreciate your perspective.
Yes, sir.
I reached out to the Austin Police Department for an update on this case, and they say they don't have one at this time. We are still waiting for documents from the local courthouse in Austin related to Virginia's arrest and what officers found in April, but they tell us that it takes as long as 2 weeks to send those documents over. Online court records show that Gonzales was slated to be in court this week, but that appearance was canceled, and now she's listed to have an appearance on June 27th for an unindicted first designation. Now, that means the grand jury hasn't likely voted to proceed with charges yet, meaning she has been arrested but is not formally charged at this time. Before we go, I want to put this email and phone number once again up on your screen if you have any information related to where Ava Marie Gonzales may be. I also reached out to Virginia Gonzales's court-appointed attorney. We have not heard back at the time of this recording. As stated, Virginia Gonzales was arrested this month for injury to a child after her 7-year-old daughter was found locked in a closet and starving, according to authorities. At this time, Virginia has not been formally charged with any crimes related to this incident or with the missing 9-year-old girl detectives are now searching for. At this time, Virginia is presumed innocent unless proven guilty. That will do it for On the Case, presented by Law&Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. We'll see you next time.